Good evening, everyone. We are the Group 6 and our topic is about the classes of verbs. Now, action verbs are classified into three: the transitive verb, intransitive, and modal verbs, which are also called helping verbs and auxiliary verbs. Now, transitive verbs directs action to anything named in a sentence. It always has a direct object. For example, Alice covered her mouth. Mouth in the sentence is the object of the verb covered. The one who does the action is Alice. Then the next is intransitive verbs. However, intransitive verbs do not have direct objects. They are often identified as those that can't be followed by whom or what. For example, the statistics of virus cases drops quickly. This sentence does not have an object and the action is not directly toward anyone or anything. Modal verbs. Modal verbs are special verbs which are also called helping verbs. They are added to another verb to make single verb phrase. They give other information about the main verb is used in the sentence. Furthermore, modal verbs allow speakers and writers to show expression of being certain, possible, willing, obliged, necessary, advising, prohibiting, and many more. The example of modal verbs is shall, should, will, would, can, could, may, might, must, and many more. And that's all for my topic.
Good day, everyone. I am Ashimia Luzaredo, and today I will discuss linking verbs, an active voice and passive voice, which is the first topic of properties of verbs. So first, let me start with linking verbs. So I will read it first, the paragraph here. Linking verbs. Linking verbs are words used in the sentence that do not show action. They help one word in a sentence name or describe the condition of another word in the sentence. Linking verbs serve as a connection between a subject and further information about that subject. The verb be is considered as the most common linking verb. So, linking verbs are verbs used in a sentence that do not show action. Instead of expressing what the subject does, they show what the subject is, feels, or appears. A linking verb connects the subject to additional information that describe or identifies it.
So here now guys, I will be going to read the example here. First example is, Mario is the leader in the fight against COVID. The second is, the chocolate cookies taste delicious. And the third is, the child looks healthy. And the fourth is, they were excited. So, the verb is, where, taste, and looks do not show action. They rather function as a link. Note that to identify a linking verb in a sentence, the verb is usually followed by a subject complement or an adjective. So the first example guys is, Mario is a leader in the fight against COVID. So, ang is guys is nag-connect na siya ni Mario as a leader. So the second is, the chocolate cookies taste delicious, as taste is mao na siya ang nag-link sa cookies nga delicious. So maora na siya guys ang pag-identify nato sa linking verb is dapat siyang lantaon if ang nagsunod niya is a complement or ang adjective. Kay naa man diri gibutan guys, the verb is usually followed by a subject complement or an adjective. So let's proceed the next topic, the properties of verbs. So there are 5 properties of verbs. There are active voice and passive voice, mood, tense, person, and number. So first is active voice and passive voice. So I will read the paragraph here. Voice is the form of a verb which shows when the subject in the sentence is doing an action or not. An action verb with direct object or without direct object can be in the active voice. A verb is passive when the subject in the sentence receives an action. So now, let's proceed the passive voice. A passive voice, that a sentence in the passive voice when the subject receives the action instead of doing it. The doer of the action may appear later, introduced by the word by, or sometimes in not mentioned.
So hello everyone, I'll be explaining some important topics about verbs. The mood, tense, person, and number. So first, let's talk about mood. So what is mood? So mood tells about the attitude in the verb in a sentence. So there are 3 moods of verbs. First is the indicative mood, the imperative mood, and the subjunctive mood. So what is indicative mood? So indicative mood states a fact or asks a question. So for example, nurses help the patient. So that's an example of indicative mood. Imperative mood, it gives a command or request. For example, please help the patients. Okay, that's an example of imperative mood. For the subjunctive mood, so subjunctive mood expresses a wish or doubt. For example, I wish that Jose help the patient. So that's an example of subjunctive mood. Next is the tense. So what is tense? So tense tells us when an action happens in the present, past, or future. Each tense has 4 forms. So simple, progressive, perfect, and perfect progressive. So simple for a basic action. And then for progressive, for an ongoing action. And then for the perfect, for a completed action. And then the last is the perfect progressive, for an action that has been continuing over time. So I'll be giving examples in the PowerPoint. I will send it. And then next is person. So what is person? So person shows who is doing the action in the sentence. The first person, the second person, and the third person. So the first person is the speaker. Like, I beat the virus. So that is the first person. And then the second person is the one being spoken to. Like, you anticipated the accident. Okay, the second person is you. You anticipated the accident. And then the third person is the one being talked about. Like, they trembled in fear. So yung gigamit is they. That's an example of third person. Okay, lastly is the number. So number tells whether the subject is singular or plural. So, what is singular and plural? So, a singular subject uses a singular verb, while a plural subject uses a plural verb. Only nouns, pronouns, and verbs show number. So, that's all for my report. Thank you.